Cool. You see the screen?
Yeah. You Ready as I'll ever be.
Right, and good morning, good morning, good morning.
Morning,
Welcome
mate.
to the Forex Trading Lounge, day 2. Day 2.
Nah, you missed something, man.
What did I miss?
What do Americans love to do?
Hey. Happy Tuesday!
Happy Tuesday.
Hey.
There we go.
Now it's a happy Tuesday. It wasn't a happy Tuesday before, but now that we've done that. How you doing, man? You okay?
All good, mate. I'm just actually looking at the trade that I missed first thing at 8:45 yesterday. I'm just tracking to see where it eventually travelled to, just so I can punch myself in the face with how much money I missed. And it moved by 22.7 the move, which is really interesting because what it is I always track my trades. If I take them, I write them down. I have a spreadsheet, but I always wait till the next day to review the length of that move. This one I missed by zero point 0.2. Literally, the spread didn't take me in. For anyone watching, they'll know that they'll learn that I'm the 10-minute analyst. So my trades are only sort of 5, 10, 15 pips long compared to Snakey Hips over here, who likes to take his swings for the day. So that matters. The best price possible matters to me. I can't quite deviate, can I, mate? So I missed it by the spread. It never entered, but it did travel for 22. So it's another stat in favour of the strategy. Continuous professional development and all that, mate.
Yeah. Well, you can't catch all of them, can you? Try as you might, you can't catch all of them. Now, there are some really nice moves, mate. Have you seen this morning? It looks like we're setting up for some really nice moves. Let's get into this.
Yeah, crack on, man. You crack on with that.
Right, so starting off on pound dollar, we're still inside of this range. So remember yesterday I was saying, because we were just here yesterday, weren't we? We're just outside.
Let me see. Yeah.
And so, we saw, based on the larger time frame, we knew, right, that there was a very good chance the market was going to come back into this range. And that's exactly what ended up happening, right? And so you see, this actually came down. My target was 36.55. Son of a gun. Look at this. This came down to 36.56. So it missed my target. I still closed this trade out with a profit. But it obviously wasn't great, right? It's not as good as obviously when the trade hits your target. This came within 1 pip of that, and hit support. So what that tells me, Rich, is that, we need to probably adjust this support level here, because what's happening is further up in the range is where we're seeing, you see that? A much more common level, right?
I'm with it, man. I agree.
And every single time the market hits that level, it goes the other way. And so this is that's my new consolidation range. It's exactly the same. I believe it's exactly the same on the 15-minute. So that means obviously I need to update this on the 15-minute as well. So I'm just going to grab this and just bring this up ever so slightly. And so you can see this is a bit more reflective now, right? And so now that gives us a good sense. So what that tells me, though, mate, is that this low, this max sub 50 right here, this is more than likely going to hold, right? This is more than likely going to hold. If the market breaks back above this trend line and closes, or we've already broken back above, if we now close above, then obviously this, what was resistance, becomes support. Now, we're not totally out of the woods yet in terms of resistance here if we're looking to go long, because obviously, we do have resistance from the range as well, and that is a concern. But on the whole, I mean, if this were to close right now, exactly as it is right now,
15 minutes.
then this, that turns this back into support, right? Now, I am getting a buy signal on this. There's no question about that. I'm getting a buy signal on this. It's not really ideal timing-wise, because if you look at the larger time frame as well, we're kind of in no man's land on the stochastic. That doesn't mean I'm not going to take a trade. It just means I got to be careful here, right? I got to be super careful. We do have a couple of things going on. So first of all, if I were to draw fibs right from the low here, we can see a couple of completions, right? So there's A, B, C, D, A, B, C. Look at this. to the 78.6, and look at where we are currently, to the 127, right? So you see how this is. You see how these fibs are holding, because we're now on the third fib that's about to complete, right?
Yeah, so that's about to score a goal for you.
Exactly right. So you tell me, mate. What should I be thinking here? Should I be thinking of just jumping and buying at this stage?
Oh, interesting that you should ask there, Chris. But 'cause I've been, as you're talking, I was just tracking there on my stuff, my side, and because I'm thinking, because if you remember, I was in a trade at 37.05 last week.
Yep.
Long, and it ultimately failed to complete the move, and then I got in at 36.60, and that failed. But we are where we are now, so it's almost as if it's found some support in this upward trend and zoning in that on the 15-minute where we are now. If you're looking to what you're trying to achieve here, look and see if there's an opportunity to take a trade, because you want some candle closes above this trend line, mate. That's what you want.
Yeah, and given the fact that we are now not only scoring a goal in the sense that we've taken out the previous high of resistance right here, right? But we are also at that 127 Fibonacci level, and look how the market's reacting.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't make this stuff up, man. Look at this, right? We're literally at that level, and at that exact level, the price is getting rejected, and this is being pushed back down.
No, on a slightly different note, right? Do you know who George Carlin is?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Do I know
He's good
who
at
George Carlin
You like
is?
him, yeah. Well, he talks about, how stupid is God, worshipping God. And he talks about the sun. Have you seen that one, that sketch where he talks about the sun? He worships the sun because it's dependable and reliable and you can trust it. And he sees it every day.
Yep.
And it energizes the planet.
Yep.
Well, mate, that's the same as your Fibonacci top down, mate. You can believe in it.
That's it.
It's reliable, dependent. It makes you money, man. It energizes life.
100%. 100%, man.
Forget Christianity, mate. Just believe in this.
That's the Church of Richard Hooper. We're now accepting donations.
KST, mate. Mate, we can run a book on that.
Yeah. Well,
we are the next Pope. The Vatican, mate. We might let's change the strategy. We'll call it the Vatican. The Vatican Supreme.
You're absolutely right, though, man. I mean, there's no question. I mean, and the only way to really see that is to just be in the markets, apply the fibs, and watch things unfold again and again and again and again. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Okay, so the answer there was, obviously, I would not have been advocating buy, because I'm anticipating now a pullback, right? And that's exactly what we're starting to get. So we've hit the D. I cannot say it's a fulfillment, though, until we get the official high there, right? So, in order, and of course, for anybody watching, in order to call this an official high, we need 2 candles to the left and 2 candles to the right, where the wicks are lower than than the center wick of that center candle there, right? That's what defines an official high and an official low. And so the only time I can confirm this and say this is now fulfilled, again, is when I have, so I need this candle, I need another candle to close, right? And then I can say that this is an official high. Now, one of two things is going to happen over the course of that time while I'm waiting for that to happen, right? Either A, the market is going to continue pulling back, in which case that just means I get a better entry, an entry point, right? Or B, it's going to continue rallying past. It's going to go and test that again and go past, right? Because I think what the market is really trying to do at the moment is it's really trying to turn this what was resistance into support, right? I really think that's, they're really trying, right? The bulls here are really trying. But the bears are having none of it. So, but we'll see what happens, right? But the point is, though, that, if the market comes back and continues to retrace and give me the official high that I'm waiting for there, then it's worth the wait, because it means I get a better entry point, right? On the flip side, if this continues to rally, right, well then the likelihood of this coming up to resistance of the range and then getting some serious interaction off of resistance from the range is very high, right? And so what I'd like to see happen here is I'd like to see for the market to come up, if it is going to continue rallying, I'd like to see it come up, break above this trend line, then come back for the test, and on that test, that's when I'd be looking to get in, right? Now, it's a conservative approach. It's a very conservative approach to markets trading, right? But here's the thing. This is not a case of I'm looking for 10 pips, 15 pips, 20 pips, you know what I mean? I'm looking for 40, 50, 100 pips at a time, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Those are the kinds of moves, because the idea is, if you get in with the trend, it's just all about timing, right? So you identify the trend, you identify where it's going, and then it's just all about the timing of where you get in. At this moment in time, I had an opportunity to get in this, but that ship has sailed at the moment. So now what I need to do is wait for the next ship to come in, right?
Yeah.
And invariably, the next ship will come in, right? So it's just a case of waiting, mate. And to be honest, a lot of new traders especially struggle with that concept, that a lot of trading, a lot of consistently successful trading involves a lot of waiting, right?
It does.
Involves a lot of waiting and a lot of patience.
Here's an example, right? Literally in the last 2 minutes, whilst you're talking, I'm thinking, underside of the trend, Fibonacci goal. I'm looking at my systems here, and I'm thinking there's probably scope for 10 pips there on a sell, but it's not my strategy. It's not my strategy. So I would be ill-disciplined to deviate from my strategy if I'd have took that there on new and other information. Absolutely. That's subjective. Even though it may drop for 10, okay, I would then be in gambling mode.
Absolutely.
And so
100%.
Evidence is your point, Chris. For me, I still went through the process of I could make some money here. I could make some money here. And I'm now discounting the fact, why I wouldn't take it. And I think that's an important thing for anyone to do as well, is if you think you got a trade, try and find all the reasons not to take that trade.
Yes. That's a really good tip, actually.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
So I have realized that my setup's not where I would ideally like it to be, even though I know the market fundamentals are saying that we could get a 5 to 10 pip drop. And that's my risk to reward ratio. That ticks that box. But it's not my strategy, though.
Exactly.
So what am I doing?
Exactly.
Do you know? So.
No, 100%, mate. I'm so glad that you've said that. Oh, and hang on. I've just realized. Wait a minute.
Just on pound dollar, though, mate. If there are, people watching and stuff.
Gotta make an announcement here. Yeah, go on. Sorry.
Me personally, I wouldn't even touch that unless it breaks above the 20. just because of how key that level is.
37.
That's my
I mean,
37.20.
yeah,
Yeah,
37.20.
that's my market cap for like the day, really. If we get a break above that, I'll be like, okay.
Yeah. No, I'm
So
definitely in agreement with you there, because that is my
I think
resistance level, really.
I think the trend line
100%.
for me is it is resistance right now. It will be and could be support soon. However, I would need that extra confirmation. Yeah, that's the top of your range box.
Yeah.
'Cause
37.20 is
the three,
exactly the top of my range.
yeah, because you're on the two over there, aren't you?
Yep.
What's the are they days at the days at the bottom, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, so go back sort of a week or so. I was in this trade. In fact, I jumped in there. See at the bottom of that big bearish there, and then you get the 3, 4 bullish on the 26th of Jan.
Yes.
I had a 100 pip stop for a huge trade, remember?
Mm.
And it came to 92. Came to 90. That move there was bringing it to 92, and obviously that trend line you have there is a legacy line from way back. Data off the screen just now. And it bounced, it carried on. I'm out of that trade now though, because we need to see a sustained break above this 3720. That's why
Yeah.
it's a
No,
key
100%.
level. So
100%. The thing is, as long as we remain below that level as well, um, the chances of us staying inside of this range are huge. You know what I mean? So you don't really, again, it's all about timing, right? You don't want to. It's not to say that the long-term move isn't going to happen. It is still going to happen. I still have every faith in the world that this is headed to 143.53 and even beyond, right?
mm,
Because that's what the long-term technicals point to.
yeah,
But it's all about timing, and you don't want to be getting into a trade, shooting for the moon like that when you're still inside the friggin' the
the 18-yard box.
that's it. Yeah. You're still inside the hangar. That's the word I was looking for.
Yeah,
You're still inside the hangar, and you don't want to be placing a trade when the plane is in the hangar, and you
gonna
want
be
to
on the
wait till
runway,
it's
man.
out and get it onto the runway. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Get it on the runway, then get in. You know.
yeah.
Um, you should like that analogy, eh?
Well, I did used to
That
be
was
a
for you,
pilot.
especially.
I was never a pilot, mate. I just ran up hills and got shouted at. Uh,
Well,
Paid really good
thank you for your
money,
service.
really good money. Well, it's a pleasure to be serving alongside you. To be fair, I always loved how the US they're far more patriotic and they do things bigger.
Oh yeah, always.
I was so jealous. I used to be so jealous of the troops, the US troops. They had all the kit. They got all the kit and equipment, man, and they looked cool as well. Whereas we just go out on patrol with our knives and forks, mate. Uh,
Look at this in here. So Aussie dollar, dollar, dollar. We got the nice little push there,
mm.
but just as we're seeing elsewhere, right? We're seeing that pullback starting to come into play there.
Yeah, what do you think about this one, mate? Just on the 15 minute, because I was in a trade, wasn't I? As we opened up the show there, I was actually selling from 35. I cancelled it though. So what do you reckon's happening here?
You're selling from 35.
I was.
Yeah, so I think this is just a pullback, really, mate. Because to be honest with you, if you look, there's a good possibility, especially because we came right down. We didn't come down quite to support, right? In terms of the channel, but we're in the region, right? We're in the realm,
Yeah.
and right there we got an engulfing bull, followed by a nice push up, And if you look, right, get a bit closer here, what do you see?
Okay. Starting to form.
That's a pattern, mate. That's an advanced pattern. That's a King's Crown, right?
Yeah.
It's a very small one, and I'm
Yeah.
applying the principle on a very, very, very small scale
Slight bit of
here.
detail. Yeah.
But it's just
Does
like
not
I was
mean
saying
pro.
to you the other day with the fibs, right? You can even place fibs on a 1 minute candle, and they'll work, right? It's the same concept. The patterns, you know, they work regardless of the time frame. So, what I'm looking at, mate, especially because we're at support, and like I say, we got that initial candlestick formation that initially pushed this. What I'm really looking at here, hold on, is this. So I wouldn't be looking to sell, I'd be looking to buy. The MACD also supports that. We have a cross on the MACD. We're also operating off of an existing buy signal. And right now, I mean, with this pullback here, we're still technically in the sell zone, but there's a good chance the market comes back to, you know, maybe falls down to this trend line here and then just rallies again. Remember, you know, we saw this initial push across the board here, starting with that pound dollar, right? We started the discussion with the pound dollar. I don't think that initial push is over. I think it's just a pullback. So that would apply to all the dollar crosses across the board.
Right, let's have a look at Aussie dollar, 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 dollar on the 2 hour.
Do it.
We should change it to Oscar Delta.
Oscar Delta.
We lose valuable airtime with the insistent requirement to take the mick out of this currency pair's name.
You can't do that, mate. You have to call it Aussie dollar, dollar, dollar.
Well, what I'm looking at is like it's trying to decide what to do or something.
Yeah, so it's right there at support. You can see, right? I mean, it's right there at support. We've
Real
broken
good support
both
at
trend lines
10,
here.
mate. Real good support at 7,610.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this whole region in here, mate, all the way down to 75.91, which is where that sub B is located. That's all support right in there. Look, this region right here. So from about, say, I would argue from here, from about 76.30 down to about 76.90. That whole region in there is support. If I'm looking at a sell on this, a meaningful sell, I mean, right? If I'm looking at any kind of meaningful sell, then I'd like to see this break out below. I'd like to see this get out of this support level here. You know what I'm saying? Because as long as we're here, there's too much of a risk that this continues. Because the overall direction is bullish, right? Long-term direction here is bullish. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And as far as price action's concerned, you know what we have? What's this?
Dollar yen's been interesting for the last hour, mate. When we get there.
What's that, mate? Tell me.
In fact, it's interesting now, mate. You might want to have a look at dollar yen.
Ooh. That's interesting.
I've got some major support at the 75, 76 though.
That's exactly, yeah. 73 is where I've got mine. So we're in agreement. That's a counter trend line break. That's actually a sell signal on the 2 hour. Let me go down to. Ah, shoot, hang on. Dollar yen on 15. Oh, that's right for a sell. It's gonna pull back. So we can get a better price though than this.
I think the price is 76, mate. What, to buy it?
To sell.
To sell it?
This is pulling back. This is pulling back. This is going to come back further. We're back inside the AB boundary now as well. You see that?
So I'm looking at 94. If I'm gonna sell, I'm looking at 94 at the minimum.
Yeah, I can see that. I would agree with that.
Is that the
What
top
I
of your
want to
boundary,
do,
by the way?
huh?
Where's your boundary?
So the capital boundary is this.
Is that? Where does that extend onto the thing? I can't see the price, mate.
Hang on.
Is it 94 your boundary?
Yeah, 939.
Oh,
That's my B
that's
boundary.
scary, isn't it?
That's my B boundary. 939.
Okay, well, there's a strat that if it reaches up to the 94, for me, I only get about one of these a month. They're so rare, but they don't lose. 94 saying sell.
It's a good sell now, to be honest. It looks like a good sell now. We're bound to get a pullback at some point here, but
I think it's going to make it down to 76, mate.
this
Clear road
this
to
has
76.
room to come all the way down to 32. It's got room to come down to 32. Reason being, right, that's an unfulfilled 38.2% on this 15-minute time frame here. It's an unfulfilled 38.2%. We've broken this innermost trend line, which I teach you in the course,
Yeah.
right? Anytime we break one, chances are the market's going to make its way to the next available one. So this one
Yeah.
here. Oops, wait a minute.
Yeah, that's
a straggler.
that's a bit drunk.
So there's actually, look at that. There's actually loads of room here. Look at that. Loads of room to the downside. Let me see the 2 hour. What's that look like? So the 2 hour, we're at very good level of resistance. I even had identified this the other day. This level, 9.4. Look at that, 104.94. I identified that level as being a key level of resistance to look out for. And sure enough, we can see how the market is playing off of that, right? Let me go up to the daily. Yeah, on the daily, what you have to understand as well, right, is long term, we're in a downtrend on this, long term. But what's happened is the market just recently has broken above what was this major level of resistance. Because don't forget, this is the daily time frame, right? So you're talking months and months spent below this level. The market finally broke above it. Naturally, the next move is for it to pull back, right? I mean, that's just market mechanics 101, right? Welcome to class, everybody. Welcome to day one, right? Like that's how the market works. And so I shouldn't be thinking of a buy here. I should be thinking of a sell. So the question then becomes, okay, well, where is this sell? And where am I selling to? Now, if you look on the 2 hour time frame, okay, we are in an uptrend. 105.51 is my ultimate de-extension target here. But here's the thing, even if this fell all the way back to this trend line, all the way down here to say 103.93 area, my target is still 105.51, right? All that's happened in that situation is the market's just come down in search of the next trend line. And if I come in over here, right, from this low in here, I want to now connect this high. That's my highest high right there. So I'm going to grab my trend line, and it looks like it's going to be that low there. Can you see how we're breaking that trend line? So this is sell, baby, sell. Sell, baby, sell.
Okay.
Long term, there's still, or should I say medium to longer term, there's still some upside potential there, but at this very moment in time, this is sell, baby, sell.
I think we're looking at a pullback, then a continuation up to your target. I think that's going to be, it's not going to be two straight lines, but I think over the next week to the end of next week, I think that's what we're looking at, So okay, mate. So let's get serious about this. For me, I've got support in for the dollar yen. I've got support at a floor of 104.54.
I can see that. Yeah, I can certainly see that.
maximum 20. You ain't getting below 20, mate. I'd even argue to say 30.
Right, so the signal I'm seeing at the moment, because this is a Strat 6 signal, so you've got a couple of strats going on here, right? You've got Strat 4, which is the counter trend line break. You've got Strat 1, which is candlestick formation. You've got Strat 3, which is a B fade scalper, right? And you've got Strat 6, right, which is the T3 strategy, specifically on the 15-minute time frame. And so in here, based on Strat 6, I'm going to go with Strat 6 for the actual setup. I've got room down to 104.24. 104.42. That's 10 pips ahead of my 38.2. But if I'm just literally just going off Strat 6, then I'm going off of the actual signal candle, which is just here. I'm going 15 pips above for the stop, which is 105.16. 10 pips below the low for the entry, which we haven't quite touched yet, but that's 3 pips away at 104.83. And so at that point, I then just grab a calculator, measure the distance, right? So 105.16 and 104.83. It's 33 pips in risk, which means 49 in reward. That's what I want to go for. 104. You can't make this stuff up, man. Look at this. 104.
Where's your target? 42?
42 is based off of 10 pips going 10 pips in front of the unfulfilled 38.2 target, right?
32. Decent.
Now, the actual target from Strat 6, right? Well, from all the strats, really, if I'm going my minimum 1 to 1.5 risk reward, right, is 104.34. It's 2 pips in front of that unfulfilled 38.2%.
Mate, just quick, is that your trend level ending there at the 104.20? Is that your trend line?
Say again, which one?
Is that your trend line ending at the 104.20 there, mate?
Which one? What are you on about?
The bottom right of your screen where you've got the 104.20 price, is that a trend line? Is that your yellow trend line?
This is a trend line here.
No, the bottom right of your screen.
This one.
Where all your little circle things are. Yeah, they're your trend lines there. Is that your secondary?
That's the next trend line, yeah.
So that's near the 104.20, which from where the price is now compared to where it would meet that trend line, I would argue to say 104.20 is you know it's going to be the next base.
Yeah.
So your support levels are lining up with how I've got mine set up. Yeah. So are you at entry then? Are you getting in this?
This looks pretty sweet, man, to be honest. I'm not anticipating that this will take me in right now. Probably take a couple candles, because we're more than likely going to get a pullback at this point, because we've just now broken this trend line. So we're probably going to get a pullback to test. But I can go ahead and get I can do two things, right? On the one hand, I can go ahead and get this pending order set up. On the other hand, I can wait for the pullback and then look for another entry that way. I'm going to go with option A on this one, and then when we see the pullback occur, we'll look for signs that it's ending, and then look for signs to get in that way instead.
Yeah, that 94 level is because with dollar yen you can mess around with a daft sort of 5 to 10 pips because they mean a bit more. They have each point carries a little more intensity, I think, on the dollar yen compared to like the Euro Aussie, for example. The Euro Aussie is like a hose pipe that's been left on at the wall and no one's holding it. Have you seen that? So dollar yen. Yeah, would you not wait for a 94 sell? Like, is that the underside of the trend there?
94 is the underside. Yeah, it would be the underside of the trend line. It would also be the underside of the B high right there as well. So I mean, it's not a bad level at all.
To be fair, there's two ways you can get confirmation. You wait for a pullback or you wait for a break of a level. Are you going for a break of the level?
That's essentially, yeah. So this strategy calls for the break of the level, basically.
Okay.
Because what it does, it sacrifices a couple of pips that way, obviously.
Yeah.
But it confirms, doesn't it, that the market's headed in that direction.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's like that. It's like you sacrifice, let's say in this case, 10 pips or something,
Yeah,
for that added confirmation that okay, well, surely we're going in this way then, or we're a little bit more likely for this to generate momentum, snowball in that direction, and
exactly.
hopefully hit the TP.
Yeah, exactly. So I will set this up. This is 33 pips in risk. Let me just see this here. Okay, so this is dollar yen. You
Once that's set up, you need to get on the pound dollar quick.
Yeah, I'm gonna have a look. Right, so stop loss 105.16. We're gonna take profit 104.34. This is 1, 3. That's actually 1. Yeah, 3 and 6 on the strats. And we're doing an entry sell stop. Cool, so 104.83 is where I'm looking to get in. Cool, so that's in place. Right, pound dollar. Let's have a look.
Because if dollar's going to
Ooh.
drop, you know what pound dollar's going to do, Mike?
Is it going to drop?
Oh, are you looking at CAD?
Look at dollar CAD. That's beautiful.
Are you still in a trade there?
No, I'm out. All the trades from yesterday I got out.
Okay.
Look at Aussie dollar. Dollar. Right, pound dollar. Okay, beautiful. So we're back above now. So, again, the ship has sailed, right? As far as the ideal entry to get in at this point on this trade, that ship has kind of sailed a little bit. Actually, has it? Let me see something here. Wait a minute, because this is the actual. You know what? I'm gonna go off the actual signal.
Bullish, man.
I'm gonna go off the actual signal candle itself, and let's see what we got. Oh yeah, we're past it.
To be fair, if the market got to 3,720 in the next, I don't know, 3 minutes or something, I'd have to sell that.
3,664.
That would be a trade, but
in here, right? If this breaks 37.20, mate, this is going to 38.09 at least. That looks really good, actually. That's a really tasty one.
Pound yen, mate.
I'm 11 pips beyond entry here. So yeah, at this point, right? Again, the ship has sailed, as it were. I need to kind of wait for the pullback and then get in, but I'm absolutely interested in buying pound dollars.
Well,
pound yen.
I thought I'd bring this back here because it was the first currency we started on. We was waiting to see. We was talking about what it would do, and now that it's actually done one of two things, it's then okay. Well, I'm going to reassess that and check where I am on the map, almost.
Absolutely.
But pound yen, what do you reckon, mate?
That looks really tasty too. Hold on, I'm going to go to the 2 hour as well. Yeah, so it looks really tasty on the 15, but obviously I want to go to the 2 hour and get perspective.
I've got resistance at 90.
Look at this, man. 144.34 is my target. Look at this. I've been tracking this. I'm going to 144.34, right? Dude, that's beautiful, actually. Good spot. Right. 144. So I'd have to get quite a tight stop in order to pull this off. It's the only way this works.
Below the 20.
Hey?
Below the 20. Or tighter.
Probably tighter. Let's see. Right, so on this 15, I've got a signal. It's in the sell zone on the MACD, which is not ideal, but it is still a signal, and I know from the larger time frame there's some room here for this. Plus, that's the target right there. So let me just see. And we just got the close of the candle, which is beautiful. So actually, we got this left behind a morning star here too. So what do we got? We got an engulfing bull, followed by a piercing line, followed by a morning star. Think it's trying to tell you something?
I think we're gonna go down, Matt.
I think you're gonna go down.
Yeah, I see a bit of resistance at the 90 and also the 0.5.
Yeah, so I just right off the bat certainly agree with 90.
It just depends how quick it gets there, though. Depends on if it gets there fast. I think it will serve it as resistance and it'll pull back. I think if it just builds up slowly and gradual, like I reckon it probably will. There's no news, there's no high or medium news for the next 12 hours. This is a pretty clean day for trading.
Mm.
I think it's just gonna meander its way up there, to be honest, in its own time, fairly gradually. Yeah.
Right, so 34 in risk based on where I am currently. Huh. So if I'm going for my 1 to 1.5 triple R, right?
Oh, underneath the trend line.
You know where my target is. Based on this, you know where my target
The
is.
24.
34, mate.
Is it? Oh,
Literally
that's good.
bang on. You can't make this up. Look what it just spit out at me. 14434. That's cool. I'm gonna take it. I like it. What did I say was in risk on this? 33? 34. 34 in risk.
I mean, I just want to, whilst we've got this on screen, so we was talking about two types of entry. You either wait for confirmation on a pullback and try and get a better price depending on which direction you go in, or you get in with the market when it generates that momentum in the direction that you are going. So you're going to jump in at the 83 there, right?
Yep.
The orange, denoted by the orange line against the price axis there on the right hand side.
Yep. And I'm getting in based off of strategy 1, 2, which is candlestick scalping, 2, C to D completion. We've also got, I'm not going to class it as a strat 6 because it actually doesn't fall in line with strat 6. But we do have a counter trend line break in there as well. So I can go ahead and throw a strat 4 on there too. So three out of my 6 strategies are calling for a buy on this.
And I'll tell you, I think we're gonna get. My system is shaking out for an upward trend for both pound dollar, pound yen, with a downward trend with the dollar yen, and so that's a correlation of the three currency pairs. So we've got pound dollar wanting to go long, at least for a short time. In a white zone phase 1. White zone phase 1 is the beginning of the expansion of that particular currency. And I can see pound yen at the minimum. It'll travel up 20. It'll travel to 20, mate. Minimum.
Yeah. Well, if you look on the 2 hour, right, here's the 2 hour time frame right here. Look at our fibs going back from this low here. Look at our fibs, follow them up. We had, these are sub fibs. So the capital target is right there at 144.34. The reason for that capital target is because this is my capital fib. You see down here, 2 hour maximum 69.4%.
Yeah.
So there's my actual my capital fib right there.
Yeah.
And so I've been tracking to 144.34 since then. Look at this.
Are you talking about your daily cap ABs?
No, this will be the capital AB on the 2 hour time frame.
2 hour, right? Okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say.
So since then, I've been saying 144.34, and look at this. The market, again, as long as the market doesn't give any reason to change the outlook, why would you change the outlook, right?
Yeah.
So 144.34 has been the target all along. We are very much getting there, and these subs confirm that, right? Look at follow, right? A, B, C, D, A, B, C, D, A, B, C, D, all the way up. And what do we get? Actually, hang on, because these are subs and then sub-subs from the look of it. I must have been doing a coaching session or something. These are the subs right here. So this is a 38.2. It's just fulfilled that 1.618. Can you see that?
Yeah.
So, no, it's going to be this low here from the look of it. To there. And so this is the new. So literally, the idea that this would pop up a little bit to take out that high. I mean, you can see we're even still in the buy zone, as far as the T3s are concerned too, right?
Yeah.
That to me, that's beautiful. That looks really nice. I like that a lot. That's a high probability trade in my book. If it doesn't work out,
Is that on the 2 hour you got the MACD starting to produce a signal there?
So on the 2 hour, we're still in the sell zone. You can see it triggered a sell signal with this dark cloud cover right here. Actually, that's more than a dark cloud cover. That's an engulfing bear, because of that wick there. So this engulfing bear gave the sell signal. It did fall. Right, it was good for about 50 pips at its peak. We got the pullback, and I mean it's still operating off of that signal, but then the stochastic was in the buy zone and is now leaving. You see?
Yeah.
So really, the stochastic is not helpful at the moment because it's technically in no man's land, what I call no man's land.
Yeah.
But everything else is pointing to that.
Waiting for the book, mate. So yeah, if you jump on the 15, because obviously that's a wider time frame right now.
Yeah.
We have a slightly different information here.
Well, no, same information, presented differently.
Yeah.
Right. Here's the trend line break that we just saw there. That's what it looks like on the 15.
Well, you've got a signal on the MACD on the 15.
In the wrong zone, though.
I know.
In the wrong zone.
I know.
So it's not. That's why I didn't class this as when I put my comments in. I didn't class this as a Strat 6. Only a Strat.
I mean, I've purposely mentioned that because whilst you're confident in this trade, it's important for people to understand that there is still things that would potentially go against it. It's rare. Okay, I just wanted to make the point. I'm facilitating the point. It's rare you're going to get the perfect setup.
Yeah.
Basically.
Definitely.
And it's for these reasons, little things like this. But the majority is in the favour, hence why the trade's set up. And there's a further almost like a bit of a lockout agreement with ourselves, where you've got a stop ordering, whereby the market's got to get to that 83 in order for you to be interested anyway. We're not in the market now. The market it's got to produce the results in order for us to then have the confidence.
That's exactly right. And so basically what we're saying is this is what I think can happen, but I would need to see this happen first to confirm it and then take me in. That the use of pending orders is an added risk management measure. You know what I mean? Yeah, no. Right on, man. Right on.
Right on. Look at that Aussie dollar.
I'm looking at
that made it
this
down,
is pound
man.
Aussie at the moment.
Well, not quite, but
this needs updating because we've just blown through so many of these levels. I need to redo it. So actually, I'm gonna just wipe this clean. We'll restart this, but in a minute. Go back to the pound dollar, see what it's doing. Okay, so on the pound dollar, there goes the pullback. Okay, totally expected, right? This is what we're waiting for. Oops, that's not what I wanted. Hang on. Yeah, and you can see, look at the 2 hour time frame, right? You see how all that stuff we're looking at on the 15, that's what it looks like on the 2 hour, right? And So nice and clean with the one candle, you can see how resistance is doing its job, right, and holding this at bay. We got another 34 minutes or so. If this closes looking the way it does, like if this were to close right now looking the way it does right now, there's a very high chance that we get a sell-off for at least 10 pips from that point, before it continues bullish, right? But this is ideal, mate. This is ideal because I want this to pull back so I can get a better entry price before jumping in on it.
Yeah, kind of wanted it to travel a little bit, but it's fine. To be honest, mate, like this is probably a good example to mention this. Like for me, I got nothing going on, man. I've got no love to give right now to this market, other than be angry with myself for dropping out the Aussie dollar, but at the same time proud of myself for not entering a trade with the correct setup. So this is how frustrating trading could be, right? And it's why NLP is super important, man. You gotta always remain positive. Like I am proud of the fact that I missed that money. I sold the Aussie dollar at 76.35, mate, for 10. And it travelled it, but I wasn't in it. I sold it, I was up about a pip, I was like, nah, shouldn't be taking this, it's not the setup, man. It went the distance, that's money. But it would have been slightly gambling, it wasn't all the boxes being ticked. I got my alert, the formation was there, but we had a little look at it, didn't we?
Yeah.
We had a look at the Langle. I wasn't quite happy with the Langle.
Yeah, the Langle's gotta be right.
I wasn't quite happy with the Langle, man. Let's make a pact that we'll never disclose the true nature of the Langle. For anyone watching, they've got to work it out.
Secret.
For anyone watching, they've got to work that out, mate. We'll leave that for our viewers to work out. But I wasn't quite happy with the Langle, so I got out of that trade. Like it's just about sitting and waiting. You just sit and wait for an hour. Well, in our case, another hour. Yeah.
Yeah.
Talk about something else.
So, speaking of talking about something else, on euro dollar, this actually looks like pretty nice to me for a sell.
Oh yeah.
If you take a look at the 15-minute time frame, look at the break of the trend line there. A nice little counter trend line break. It's just now breaking it, and the reason I'm particularly interested is because we have a 15-minute 144D extension right there at 2001. So about 70. There's about 76 pips here.
Okay.
So even if I took, say, 50 of those 76, right? That's still good going, right? I like this very much. That needs updating. I like this very much. I identified 121.04 yesterday as a level that couldn't be broken. It was actually Sonny, wasn't it, who asked us yesterday about Euro US dollar. So 121.04 was the level I had identified as saying if we don't break above 121.04, then chances are the market is going to continue selling off, because we have that on the 2 hour. We have that unfulfilled 38.2, don't we? At 119.77. Oh no, sorry, 117.55. Way down here. So there is plenty of room to the downside. I'm not going to go so far as to say that we're going all the way to that unfulfilled 38.2. But what I am going to say is that, just like as I teach you inside the Ultimate Forex Trading course, whenever we break one trend line, the market likes to move to the next available one. So there's room at least to this next available trend line here, right? which means there's room to take this down to that 144.
Yeah. What's your trend line level coming in at around 65, mate? Euro dollar, yeah.
Yeah, they're at 64.
Okay, that's interesting. So I've got a fib there, 61.80 fib. My daily bottom is the 2016 for the euro dollar. Um, yeah, 2050, man. Mate, I reckon if it can break below the 2050, 2060, 2050, right?
Mm-hmm. I like this.
Then I think we'll probably get a sell-off.
I think I'm calling the sell off now. I'm calling it from now, mate. I think it's going to start.
A stop order would be healthy. However, see that 2088? It never quite made 88. It actually went to 86. But 888 88 would have been my sell.
Hmm.
Pull back, continue.
Yeah, no, I liked it. So 2097 is where I'd look to place a stop. It's 15 pips above the high of the candle I'm actually trading, which is this candle here. 10 pips below the close is going to give me 67, so 2067. And then as you can see, there's plenty of room to that 2001, which is the anticipated 144. There's plenty of room to get there. I'm going 10 pips in front, so as to not be greedy, right? I'm going 10 pips in front. So there's obviously plenty of room. I like the look of this, man. I think
2011, did you say?
I may have to take this. Yeah, 2011.
Which would marry up with there or thereabouts with my 2016 bottom.
Yeah, and the 2 hour puts puts us right back to the trend line as well. You know what I'm saying? Because ultimately, I think ultimately euro dollar is going to start going north again at some point, but we're obviously on this pullback at the minute, right? So, and I don't think the pullback is over by any stretch, right? I think we're only just begun, and the fact that we've broken below the B high. I mean, I was calling from up here, if you recall. I started calling the sell, and it broke this trend line, came back for the test, and so ever since it did that, we know that there's room for this to come all the way to this secondary trend line. But once it came back below this B high at say 2072 there, or sorry, 21, say 2120, 2115 thereabouts. I'm now updating the outlook. I mean, we have to break this trend line too, but if we do manage to break this trend line, there's room for this to come all the way back to the unfulfilled 38.2, right? That's where strategy 3, which is the B fade scalper, comes in. Right? Basically looking and saying, right, we've achieved the D, so we have our new AB boundary, and you're basically trading the retracement. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not ready just yet to call that, because again, we have to break below this trend line. But if we do, then I'm absolutely going to start putting my outlook to that unfulfilled 38.2 at a minimal. But for the time being, this looks nice. I'm going to take this. This was 34. Was it 34 in risk? No, it wasn't. 2097 and 2067. It's 30 pips in risk. So 45 in reward. 2022 is 1 to 1.5. 2022. Okay, so I'm gonna look to take this. This is Euro USD. 1.2097 for a potential stop. 1.2. I'm gonna go 1.2011. It's an extra 11 pips from the minimum, but I'm doing so because I think we're going for that target next. That 144. I think it's gonna make a push now. This is strategy 1, candlestick scalping. Strategy 2, CDD completion play. Strategy 4, counter trendline scalping. This is even, I'm going to go ahead and class this as a strategy 6 as well, even though we're not there yet. I've been around long enough. It's gonna give me a strategy 6 entry too. 126.7 is the anticipated entry. So I've gone ahead and placed that. Let's see what happens. So,
what risk did you put on that, mate?
Well, this is the master, so I'm only doing 1% on that.
Anything more than anything exciting, like 4?
Yeah.
Okay. 0.1.
Mhm. Now.
Okay, so what trade you in, mate?
I'm so glad you asked, Rich.
Yeah, I'm sure you a review.
Let me tell you. I've just now been taken into this Euro US dollar, like literally as you asked that question. Just got taken in.
Really?
Yep. So 12067 was my entry. I put my target at 120.11.
Ooh.
120.97. So,
mate, sorry, just flick onto the 1 hour quick.
Yeah.
I know you don't use it, but jump on the 1 hour.
Yeah.
And zoom in. You're gonna like it.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Oh, did he like it?
Why are you bringing me Christmas presents early, mate?
Does he like it? Are we winning? Okay, then what candlestick's this one then, mate?
I'm so glad you asked. That's leaving behind an engulfing bear, Richard.
Yeah. Is it? It's dark cloud cover, isn't it? The other one, and then we've got piercing line is the opposite to that.
Yeah, exactly. So at the moment, it's still technically a dark cloud cover. Although saying that, as I said that, it's now pushed beyond the open of that previous candle. It's no longer dark cloud. This is an engulfing bear.
Mate, what I want to know if women find Forex sexy.
If women find Forex sexy.
Yeah, well, not Forex sexy. I wonder if a woman finds a man who illustrates his knowledge and can quickly express the terminology and vocabulary of Forex and its technical and fundamental analysis. I wonder if they find that sexy. Or other men, if you're that way inclined. Because you're making me hot right now, man.
Am I making you? Right, so like I said, I'm going to be putting an ad out. I need a new co-host, everybody. We need to start an HR department, mate. This is not okay.
What, for the girls lining up?
No, for you. Pound dollar. So interestingly, we came back below. Look at this. We came back below this trend line, turning this back into resistance. That was short-lived.
Where did it bounce off 0.2 by any chance?
0.2. What you looking at?
Pound dollar, yeah? Pound dollar?
Pound dollar.
3702?
No, it went further. 3710. Went to
15 minute, okay.
Yep.
Where's it at now? 90?
93.
So that's a 15-minute bounce off the. There's a hard 15-minute resistance level for me on the L7. I'm not surprised, but I don't think it's gonna last long because we have a L7 60-minute hard level at 92, and we've just broke above that. Okay, so I just want to add to your pound dollar analysis, mate.
Add to it.
I've finished.
Oh. Well, thank you.
Yeah.
144.34. As you know, mate, 144.34 is what I'm looking at for this to go for next. There is room for this to still come down, but I don't think, I really don't. If you look at how price is reacting here, right? Because don't forget, these T3s are hidden levels of support, aren't
look
they?
at
Right?
that.
And look at what it's doing.
Yeah, did that bounce off the 92 by any chance?
89.
89?
89.
Go on then, trigger.
Ooh, it's going.
Look
It's
at that
going.
candle. They're sexy candles, them. I'm loving the Langle.
You loving the Langle?
Mm.
36.99. Yeah, so this, with pound dollar, I really need to see. I'm in agreement with you, but I need to see it break above 37.20 at least to really start resuming going long here. Because until that happens, we're confined to this range, aren't we? You know?
Yeah, we want that 20, mate.
There's a good chance that we get a sell-off here, because right at the backside of the trend line, we're at resistance. It's potentially creating a new high here. So if that's the case, then obviously the next two candles, I would anticipate a sell-off. So that's good for a half hour at least. So it's all going to depend on how this closes. We got about 3 minutes to go. I want to see how the market closes here. If it does close below that uptrend line, because if it does, then this is still resistance, of course.
Yeah, there's such a lot going on, mate. To be honest, that pound dollar. There's you got this 3702, got a 3712, 3720. For me, they're three short-term lines of resistance. That ain't gonna make it easy for the pound dollar. There's no crazy news or nothing, so it's a little bit tricky.
If you look on dollar yen, that's the pullback we were waiting for, isn't it? Look at that. And it has now given 1, 2, 3 counter candles.
Yeah. Is this 15 minute? When's that finished?
15.
3 minutes time.
2 minutes, just about 2 minutes.
2 minutes. To be fair, that's quite good because, mate, as I say, I think I said this earlier. Actually, it's pretty much clear for 20 pips at least. Which, you're on dollar CAD now.
Yeah, go on. I'll go back.
That euro dollar didn't like the 2065 level.
Hang on.
Didn't like it, mate. Didn't like it.
It's early yet. It's early. Give it a chance.
I know, but so how many trades have we got on, mate? We've got 16.
I'm literally in one trade at the moment. That's it.
Okay.
A bit slow. But you know, for the benefit of the viewers, you know,
This
trades come and you know, you can't force an opportunity. You know what I mean? You can't make one.
Man. This time next year, Rodney, we're gonna be millionaires.
You're right, Del Boy.
Euro dollar.
Euro dollar. I still like it.
No, that we
nothing wrong with
all
it at all.
that was the one we checked on the 1 hour, wasn't it? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, nothing wrong with this at all. Dollar CAD I'm starting to like as well. It's broken this trend line, which obviously turns this to resistance now.
Yeah, I don't spend too much time on this one, mate.
This you can see the signal on the 2 hour from the MACD. And as far as the stochastic is concerned, what are we looking at? And we're in no man's land as far as the stochastic goes. But this is starting to look good to me for a potential sell. Let me see. Let's go over here. Yeah, I think that's got some room there.
Do you gel your hair?
It's an odd question.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah. Cool, man.
Has that helped you find any trading
Well, I think
opportunities?
I might start gelling my hair, mate. It's this lockdown. I need to get some lockdown lines, man. I think I might gel it. I keep seeing these little frame bits against my nice, colourful back wall.
I want to see
It's
you
doing
braid
my
your
head
hair.
in.
Can I pay you money to go and get your hair braided? Will you accept it, please?
uh, I actually, what you know, when you go on Instagram and you just sort of lose who you are for about 7 minutes.
I don't know, but yeah, go on.
Okay, it's poor discipline, really. But if anyone's watching, you end up on social media scrolling for like just to hijack the dopamine system for a quick 45 seconds. I I quite like the barber videos, and there's a lot of guys that they go in with like long hair and they just ask the barber to just shave it all off. I'm like, Jesus. And there's a lot of guys who've got dreadlocks, and they literally go from having dreadlocks to bald. It's crazy.
You should have dreadlocks.
Yeah.
28.10. Look at this, mate. Dollar CAD. 28.10 and 27.71. It's 39 in risk, which means I'd go for at a minimum 27.13. Just there. I quite like the look of this one. It's a play
Where'd you
back to
stop?
support.
Sorry.
See that? It's a play right back to support there.
Where'd you stop, mate?
It would be at 28.10. 27.13. Let me label this on here. 27.13. It's just there.
$28.10 is your stop.
Yeah. Would be.
You're selling.
Yeah. Down to 27.13. I quite like the look of that, actually. It's not a bad setup.
What's that 28.71 green above? Oh, you was on 2 hour. What's that 28.71 on the green above?
I believe that was. Oh, that's I gotta get rid of that. That was a target from a trade I took.
Can you delete it?
Yeah.
I thought it was a bit suspicious, mate.
I quite like the look of this, man. This looks good. It's an evening star right here. You've got, so from the top, you've got evening star, you've got evening star, and you've got evening star. So 1, 2, 3 successive evening stars.
No
It
spark
looks
on
like
that
each
one.
time we get it, they come in lower than the previous. You see that? That's the highest one.
You
And that
stopped
one.
28.10.
And that one. Would be, yeah.
Ah, right. It's because you're on the 2 hour.
Mm-hmm.
What in my brain, yeah. Right. So, mate, honestly, I don't do too much with the dollar card, but for some reason, I don't like this, mate. Why do you like this?
Go back to the 2 hour. Watch this. So that 27.13 is where I'd be looking to take this. It's basically, it's just a playback to support.
So it's mainly the 2 hour information I see. Because of that, the trend there.
It's mainly just a playback to support. I mean, if I go down to the 15-minute, 27.13 actually puts me just in front of that 38.2, which has already been fulfilled. So it's not like, but the fact that we've broken this trend line, and consistently so, right? I mean, you can see how the market broke, came back, broke again, came back again, and now broke again. So this is 3 times testing this trend line and 3 times now breaking it. The trend line's broken, mate, right? Like, it's broken at this point. And so this is good, very good resistance right there. And it's driving price down. It's absolutely driving price down here. We got a little pullback right here. We're still in the pullback. But ultimately, I mean, I don't like where this is at on the 15, but on the larger time frame, which obviously I would go off of, right? Because the larger time frame is more reliable.
Dollar CAD.
We've got room. We do have room there.
Dollar CAD. Dollar down. Dollar down. Dollar down. CAD up. We wanted dollar yen long, didn't we? What we doing with dollar yen? On your chart?
No, I've got a short
I
on
was
dollar
selling,
yen.
selling the
Yeah,
dollar
I'm
yen.
looking to short dollar yen. I'm waiting.
Yesterday we was looking to long it, but today, yeah. Okay. That would make sense. Okay. I feel like for me, I would want to take it off the underside of that trend. The
What?
dollar CAD.
Oh, for dollar CAD. Let's have a look.
I feel like I would want that extra.
Back here.
Yeah. And I would have my stop above
There's
that
a very
little
good
range.
chance it comes back to that. There's a very good chance it comes back to that. Let's see.
I mean, I'm not being a dick, mate, but it's interesting that you've got, you've set it up with the standard, if it, to be fair though, if it does gather that momentum and it hits that stop and it takes you in, then it's confirmed the trend direction. But I don't know. Sometimes about trades, you get this.
If in 8 minutes time this candle closes looking exactly the way it does, then I get another opportunity to come in with a counter trend line. Right? That's the beauty of the pending orders. Again, it's an added layer of risk management, right, and risk mitigation. Because what I'm saying is, like, look, there's some opportunity here. There's some potential here. It could do this.
Yeah.
But I'm waiting and giving the market a chance to confirm that this is in fact the direction it's going to go in, because I could be wrong. And if I'm wrong, I don't want to jump in and then be wrong and find out I'm wrong after just jumping in, right? Because then that's emotional trading. And if it didn't start out that way, it certainly will lead to emotional trading, guaranteed. Would
you? So are you gonna? So you would continue to monitor in order to what's good for the viewers here? Maintain the entry using the stop order. Yeah, as opposed to wait for the limit order of the pullback to the underside of the trend line. Do you see? Because you could almost set them both up, right?
Yeah, you could.
You would prioritize the stop order.
Yeah. Yeah, you could put a stop and a limit, and then you could split your risk among the entries, right? That's absolutely, and that would be an even further layer of risk mitigation, because you're also getting you're getting in at a better price, but you're also getting in when direction is confirmed. Mate, Aussie dollar's about to start moving. I think we're going to start to see some movement here.
I know. I got in at that at 35 as well.
I'm going to take, so look at Kiwi dollar. Kiwi dollar looks beautiful to me. I sold this yesterday. I got out this morning because it's on the pullback. I'm thinking of getting back in because it looks like it's going to start to move again. And so now it just becomes a question of where. I've got a candlestick formation here. This together, it's not textbook. It's a little sloppy, but it's still an evening star. 10 pips off the low here. Where does that put me? 75, 71, 75.
Oh, go on, euro dollar. I can't believe the Aussie dollar got out of that as well. Well, that's a win though. It's a win for the stats.
7208 for the stop. Right, hang on, mate. So 7208 and 71.75. That's 33 in risk, so I should go for a minimum 49. So I'm looking at 71.26 for a target here, which is just 2 pips further than my target from yesterday. Basically giving me the exact same signal, just in a different location as yesterday. But that looks good, mate. I like that a lot. I'm going to go ahead and take it. 33 in risk. So I'm going to go ahead and place the stop again, pending order. Okay, so this is Kiwi dollar. NZD USD. 3. Stop loss at 0.7208. Take profit at 0.7126. This is strategies 1, because it's candlestick formation. 2, CDD completion play. We have a 4, which is counter trend line break. And I'm even going to go ahead and put a 6 on this as well, because even though we don't have it yet, again, I've been around long enough, it's going to be a 6. 7175 for the entry. Cool. So I've got that set up. Pound dollar looks like resistance is holding. So we're stuck inside this range, right? This is not getting out of the range yet.
Yeah.
Not yet.
Yep.
So that's fine. That's okay. I'm all right with that. Just going to look for a selling opportunity, right? If there's enough room there. Right, so I don't have a strategy 6 signal here, but what I can do is go off of the candlestick formation, strat 1. So right here, that's an engulfing bear. It was a dark cloud cover, but what sort of tips it over the edge a little bit there is the fact that it closed well beyond the open price of the previous candle. So it moves from dark cloud to engulfing bear. 10 pips below the low here. It's going to put me at 89, so 36.89, literally right where we are at market. 15 pips above. I'm going to go 15 pips above the high. That's 37.25. Okay, so it's 37.25 and 36.89. That's 36 pips in risk, which means 54 is what I want to go for. That's going to put me at 36.35. 36.35. Which is not bad at all. 36.35. Let me see where that lands us. Over here.
Euro dollar. Euro dollar's interesting.
36.
But you can't wait to have a look.
Yeah. So basically what I'm looking at here, mate, is this is pushing off resistance, potential play back to what was support before, what we had labeled as support before. Remember earlier in the show when I said we should probably update this to reflect these lows? I think based on what I'm seeing, it looks like the market is going to make a push for that second level where we originally were. I like this very much. This is 36 in risk. So I'm looking at, I'm going to go ahead and take this. This is pound dollar. 36.87. The only thing is I'd have to get in at market for this. But I'm gonna do it.
It'll certainly get turbulence around 57, mate. 60, 50 mark.
Definitely.
I would I would set an alert for yourself, mate, for when it hits 60.
Yeah. Definitely.
To consider checking out the Langle and getting out of it, or at least part position out, break even or whatever, you know.
Yeah. Definitely. Okay, mate. So I am now in on pound dollar. So I'm in on pound dollar, in on euro dollar. Dollar yen, I'm not in, but we're seeing that pullback continue there. That may actually turn into a buy signal after all on dollar yen, which again, no problem, right? No problem at all if it does.
Well, we said over the underside of the trend, which, well, I said 95 the night before. That 94 was, it's now a 94 level, mate. That 94 level on the dollar yen. That's a strong level, mate.
67. Hang on a second. So Aussie dollar, it looks like I'm getting a sell on Aussie dollar as well, mate. 7613. Right, so I'm going to go ahead and sell that evening star that I pointed out to you before. 47, 52. It's going to be 52. And I'm, again, minimum 1 to 1.5 triple R reward to risk ratio. And so that's 76.52 and 76.13. That's 39 in risk, so 58 in reward. That's 75.55. Where does that leave me? Yeah, not bad. Not bad at all. I like it. I'm going to take it. This is, what did I say was the risk on this? 39. Okay, so this is Aussie dollar. $7,652 for potential stop. 7,555 potential take profit. I'm going. This is strategy 1 for the candlestick formation. Strategy 2 CDD completion. Strategy 4 CTL break, and a strat 6. Real strong signals here, mate. Real strong signals. I'm looking at an entry sell stop at 0.7613. Okay, so that's Aussie dollar. Kiwi dollar, I've got the pending order there as well.
Aussie dollar has worked itself out quite nicely now. It was a bit tangled up for about the last, I'd say, 2 hours, but I think it has worked itself out quite nicely.
Definitely.
I would reserve an alert for 7605 and certainly around the 7600 mark. There's going to be some turbulence there.
1.3635. Hang on, 1.3725. Okay, so just to recap, everybody, I am in live now on pound dollar, in on euro dollar. I've still got the pending on dollar yen, though that may change. And we've just recently had the close of the candle. So have a look on this pound dollar on the 2-hour time frame. Look at what was left behind. You see that? So we did push. The bulls really did make that attempt we were talking about earlier. They really did make that attempt to push this higher. It closed for like a hot second above. So turn that into support for like a hot second, but ultimately resistance held. We got this huge price rejection to the north, long wick to the north, and so now we're back below resistance. And so on the 15-minute time frame, that of course is triggering the sell signal there. So I'm in on pound dollar, in on euro dollar. I've got the pending on dollar yen, though. Again, like I say, that's probably going to change. That's probably going to turn into a buy signal there. So we'll come back to that in a second. Not in anything on dollar CAD at the moment. I've got a pending on Aussie dollar, and I've got a pending on Kiwi dollar, pending sells. Oh, and I've also got a pending buy on pound yen, although I don't think anything's really happened with that. Let me see something here. Let's go to pound yen. Oh yeah, okay. So we ended up breaking back below the counter trend line there, and this is actually triggering a sell signal. So if anything, I'm gonna have to go to the larger time frame for pound yen, but I don't want to do that just yet. Looking over here first. Right. Let's see. So dollar yen, I want to go back to the larger time frame here, see what's happening. Okay, so on the euro dollar, right, we did end up getting an engulfing bear, exactly as you had pointed out earlier. We did actually get the engulfing bear. So now, of course, we do run the risk of there being a pullback here, because we know, based on the Ultimate Forex Trading course, market likes to test candlestick formations like 50% of the time, right? At least. So there is a good chance we get a pullback here, but ultimately that's a sweet formation right there. That's what you want. That's beautiful. So I'm very happy with that.
It's nice. We just need the pop of the 65 now.
Yeah, exactly. The fact that we got price rejection on this 2-hour dollar yen is a good thing. I think the bulls are going to make another stab at breaking back above support here. What I identified as support is 104.94. I think we're going to make another, have another go at this. And you can see with that huge wick left behind to the downside there, a lot of price rejection there that supports that. So what I want to see here ideally on dollar yen is a break back above this to turn this back into support again. And then obviously we should anticipate a test and then continuation. But this is more than likely, mate. This is more than likely going to turn back into a buy signal.
Well, what's interesting, okay, I didn't tell you this, but what's interesting is let me just check my facts. Okay.
So dollar yen on the 15, we actually have. Sorry to interrupt you, mate, but we just a second here. We've actually got.
So.
With all of these combined, that's a morning star. With all of these in here combined, that is a morning star. So what it's done, we actually have this range here that we're dealing with. You can see it, can't you?
Yeah, so the auto trader actually decided to get in long at 95 on a 15-minute trend.
Really?
Okay. Yeah, and to be honest, it's been in the stop loss for a little bit.
It's going to come back.
We may be seeing that pullback completed, and there's a potential continuation of the trend. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's coming back now, man.
And it is clear roads long as well. So if the dollar's going up, then the pounds are coming down. Euro dollar's coming down.
Aussie dollar.
Aussie dollar's coming down.
Kiwi dollar.
The Oscar Deltas and the golf uniforms and the so yeah. I was just thinking, right, slightly off topic, but I'd like to meet a trader who's a successful trader who's got dyspraxia.
Who's got what?
Dyspraxia.
What's that?
Dyspraxia is it's like a short-term memory loss sort of condition. It's like a learning difficulty that some people have, unfortunately. But and people with dyspraxia often have a challenge with memorizing numbers and mental arithmetic and whatnot. And it just caught my attention because obviously you're so used to doing what you do as a technician within this role that is trading. You can quickly assimilate numbers and churn it up, and and hence why it's so mentally fatiguing and tiring. And you shouldn't be doing any more sort of 2, 3, 4 hours a day. But it'd be interesting to see if people with dyspraxia, if there's any successful traders out there with that condition. So if you're watching or you know anyone, maybe send through an article or some kind of report, or anyone you might know. That'd be an interesting read.
Absolutely.
And to be fair, we could even get him on the show, or her.
Yeah.
Get them on the show, mate.
Absolutely.
And see how they cope with, what's their coping mechanisms for doing so. Notepad and pen. It's not too difficult. If there's people with learning difficulties, I think they're quite capable of being able to trade. I just think they potentially need more time or other means of recording information and more support. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
It just caught my attention. That's why. Just my mind wanders, mate.
Right. So the high here, 37.10 and 36.84. So what I'm doing now, right, 37.10 and 36.84, it's 26 pips. What I'm doing is I'm dividing that in half to find the halfway point between this move, right? It's a little technique, little sidebar here, a little tip and trick for you guys, anybody watching. Anytime we have a move like this, the trick to knowing whether the move is going to hold or not is in how the market retraces or responds to that move. So in other words, if we go beyond 50% of the original move and close, good night, Irene. You're in trouble. Your trade's in trouble, right? Like, get used to, just get that in your head now, so it's not a shock when it actually happens, right? That's also obviously, the reason I say that is because you can use this as a little technique, as like an early warning system, right? And like a gauge. Do I stay in the trade, or do I just cut my losses, kind of a thing? Because there will be times where you find you should just cut your losses. Sometimes you should just let it run, see what happens. Sometimes you should just cut your losses. 13 pips is the magic number here. So what I want to do, because I'm selling this, is I want to take the low of this candle, which is 3684, and I'm going to add 13 pips to it. And that's going to put me at 3697, okay? And then I'm going to grab a horizontal ray line, and 3697, okay, this is my halfway point right here. If the market comes up and breaks beyond this level and closes, I'm not interested in this trade. I'm really not that interested in this trade anymore, right? As long as we're still below there, though, I'm not going to worry. I'm not going to worry full stop, right? Because you shouldn't. Because if you want, once you place the trade, if you're exercising proper risk and equity management techniques, and you're sticking to your trade plan, then you shouldn't be worried full stop, right? Because if you are, then you're trading with money you shouldn't be trading with. But maybe a better way of saying it is I have more confidence in this as long as we stay below that level, right? And there is room for the market to kind of wave around a bit inside of this, because we know the market likes to test 50% of the time, right?
Can I challenge you?
Go on.
So there's going to be a lot of people watching, and they're going to be like, well, what's the point in the stop loss, man? So what's your take on that, Christopher?
That's a good question. Yeah, so you're absolutely right. Your stop loss is there to do exactly that. It's to stop your losses in the event that things go wrong. But I think what you'll find is over time, the more experience you get under your belt, right, you see the way the market behaves. The more you've seen the market do something over and over and over again, the higher your confidence is going to be in the outcome of whatever the outcome's supposed to be, what you're looking at, right? That doesn't mean that there's a guarantee. There are no guarantees in trading. There are no guarantees in anything, really, aside from maybe death and taxes, right? Those are the only guaranteed things.
And spreads.
And spreads and commissions and swaps. But other than that, there are no guarantees. So there's of course always the risk, isn't there? Look, you should get to a point, and when you're first starting out, you really should just kind of set the stop and leave it alone, right? Because that's going to do a couple of things. Number one, it's going to help with the emotional side of trading. It's going to get you used to losing, which is important, because you're going to take losses, right? It happens. It's part of it. But as you get more experienced, you start to find little tips and tricks like that, right? Like that 50% thing. So if the market comes beyond 50%, there's a very good chance that not only is this not going to work out, the market's going to go completely the other way. So it's not to say, I could just let it run and do its thing. I'll just tell you now, the fact that we closed where we did, that's a very good sign.
So obviously experience is massive, but for people that don't have that experience, what Chris is doing here is he's going, okay, I've got my stop loss, which is great, and I'll probably stick with it. However, if I've got the opportunity to langle my way into profit, then you're gonna do that, and it is trade management. That's trade management. That's what good.
Exactly.
Oh, look at that. Nice. Okay.
I'm in on Aussie dollar now.
Mate, have you seen Euro dollar? Look at that quick.
I'll see you later, mate. Bye. Show's
Look
over.
at Euro
We're
dollar
done.
quick, mate.
Bye.
Look at Euro dollar. Mate, how much did we just make there? I think
All
we
done,
can
man.
close all trades, and we've just made. I think we've just made 3K. Let's close all trades.
Look at
Check out the Euro dollar quick.
that.
Mate, quick.
Boom. Look at that sucker.
Look at that, mate.
Look at that
Oh,
sucker. You
Have
see?
some of that. Yeah.
What'd I say? What'd I say?
What did I say? What did I say? I said, watch it, wait for the pop on 65. Wait for the pop on the 65, man. 10-minute analyst.
the 10-minute 8-pip wonder.
Yeah. No, see, on a serious note, all this is exciting, but for every action, there's an equal or opposite reaction. So forget all that. It's just a little bit of excitement in the market. But going back
It's nice to
to
have fun.
your trade management, there's nothing wrong with letting the stop loss do its job, because the idea is permutations and probabilities within the mathematics of your strategy applied over the course of 12 months. You put 10 trades on at 1%, for example, and you win 10 trades at 1.5, then you're 5% up, right? So letting your stop loss do its thing is absolutely fine. And for new traders, I strongly recommend that you get comfortable with letting it do its job, and letting the take profits do their job as well. But as Chris, you've been doing it for 5 to 10 years in varied capacities within the Forex industry. It's important for people to recognize that and to not emulate your experienced nuances that you've learned right now. Okay, if there's any beginners, right? Obviously, if you've got experience and anyone's watching and you're using us to just make your day a little bit more fun and enjoyable, and you're going to take some of these figures and numbers and data and market analysis and apply that to whatever it is that you're doing, then cool, good luck to you. But strictly speaking, for the newbies, try and let the stop loss work for you, but practice on paper, maybe paper trade or shadow analysis of what the Langle's doing, and make notes, keep a spreadsheet, create a journal for yourself, and in those notes, review it at the end of your session, at the end of your day, before your next session, and recognize why did you trade manage it that way. And if you're doing it with us, then brilliant. Me personally, I think I'd have just let that stop. I would have let the stop do its job. But again, that's two traders that trade together that would do things slightly in different ways. I did the same on Aussie dollar. I sold Aussie dollar earlier at 35, guys, and it's down at 15. I only normally take on my short-term trades 10 to 15 pips. It went for 20. That's a win for me. But I actually got out of it. Because I didn't like the Langle. You win some, you lose some, though. Unfortunately, you win some, you lose some, and that's how it is.
That's it. And don't cry over spilt milk. You know what I mean? If you lose, you lose, right? It's part of it. In fact, in the Ultimate Forex Trading course, when we get to the psychology section, how do I start it, Rich? I start by saying, you are going to lose.
Your job.
Right? You are going to lose. Simple. Get used to that,
job,
right? Understand that and accept that. Because it's true. You cannot win at everything. You're not going to win them all. Losses are part of the game, So factor them in ahead of time. Understand they're going to happen ahead of time. And don't cry over spilled milk, It happens.
You will lose friends and alienate people.
Say again?
You will lose friends and alienate people.
Yeah.
Not trading today. um, 2040, mate. Euro dollar, pretty strong resist support.
2040. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like it's having a tricky time cutting through that as well. To be fair, um, the MACD and the stochastic is it'll be there's gonna be a pullback. Yeah, in the short term, that is like a 50 pip move like that in the last hour or so. I would be surprised if it gets beyond this, but if it does beat that 40 level, mate, it's gonna go to it'll drop all the way down to about 15,
Oh yeah. Yeah, for sure. And my
and then
target's
it's
set.
certainly coming back.
Yeah. No, for sure. I mean, if you look at what it's doing, right? Again, inside of the UFTC, I teach you anytime the market breaks the one, it makes its way to the other, right? Makes its way to the next available trend line. That's all we're seeing here. That's literally all we're seeing here, right? And the further you go up the time frames, the more in context you're able to put things, right? So there's euro dollar. So look at this on the daily time frame. We broke right in here, and from that time, right? I've been saying there is a good possibility this comes back, right? I'm still bullish on this long term, medium to long term. I'm still bullish on this. That hasn't changed. My targets as to where this is ultimately going to end up, that hasn't changed, right? None of that stuff has changed. Just because we're getting the pullback, right? All this is just a smaller move inside of the larger move. We broke the one trend line. The market's just searching for the next available. I do recognize 2040 is a pretty good level, but I also do think I think there's enough there to push further. I really do. I think there's enough there to come all the way down to that trend line.
Oh yeah, that's where we spoke about that earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Cool, man. Okay, so
Right.
what's actually interesting, I think this is a good opportunity for you, Chris, to describe some trade management around the price action within the next, I would argue to say, 2 hours, maybe up until the US Open, around that trend line and what to expect, how you would manage that, to be honest.
Yeah, absolutely. So usually rule of thumb is if I'm under 20 pips in profit, then I'll leave it alone. Once and even I mean, saying that, sometimes I'll even leave it beyond that, right? It really depends on the conditions in the market at the time. Right now, though we do see a little bit of stalling, it's just normal stalling, right? There's nothing like abnormal happening here. There's nothing I haven't seen a million times before, right? So there's no reason for me to worry. So it's not like a pressing need to start jumping into trade management. I'm up about 22 pips on this euro dollar at the moment. In fact, I'm up exactly 22 pips right now on euro dollar. I could just leave this alone, or because I'm up past the 20 pips, I could also move the stop to break even, +5. And this way, the worst that can happen is the market comes back, stops me out, but stops me out for a profit, right? I'm still walking away with a profit. The risk in doing that, of course, is that you're not giving the room requisite, right, for the market to do its thing. Because again, the market never moves in a straight line. It's just not how markets work, right? It moves in waves, and even down to you can go all the way down to the 1 minute. You can go down to 1 second, and watch these things second by second, and you will see the waves, and you'll see the Fibonacci's measuring those waves and working all the way down, to the 1 second, and all the way up to the daily and weekly time frames, right? And so you have to understand that. So at the moment, I could move the stop. There is a risk, though, because I'm eliminating the room that is there. There is a risk that I get stopped out, in which case I'd have to look to get back in.
Yeah.
But The risk, of course, is that at that time, there's not a good entry opportunity again. You know what I mean?
Let's
So
sorry, just when you've finished describing that, let's check the dollar yen and then let's wrap up, mate.
yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so let's get a quick the other thing here I just want to say as well is you have to keep things in context, right? And what is it that you're trying to accomplish, right? Ultimately, I'm targeting 1.2001 as a target, right? Because it's the anticipated 144. We've got the 69.4% from the capital fibs, and from that point, I've been anticipating a move down to 2001, the 144. And the market hasn't done anything to change my mind on that, right? So knowing that, there's even less incentive for me to move the stop here in this particular situation because of the fact that we're above the last set of highs, right? And we know that the market waves. Ultimately, I have confidence in this. This is moving in the direction of the trend. It's moving from its C to its D. You know, it's doing its thing. You know what I mean? And I have confidence in it. So there's no reason. If I had less confidence in this, it might, that might be a situation where I might trade manage this a little bit. But at the moment, there's no reason. At the close of this candle, right, I may look to move the stop to break even. But that's just purely, if I'm doing that, really the only time I'm doing that is to get the exposure off the table. And it'll be because I'm seeing an opportunity somewhere else to pick up another entry. So basically, I want to take the risk that I have from this trade off the table so that I can put the same amount of risk back on the table with another pair. You know what I mean? So, again, just to summarize and drive it home, right? It's trade management is good, but it can work against you just as it works for you as well. And it's about knowing when to trade manage and when to just let it do its thing, and having that discipline.
What's interesting there is you've got a rule, within this particular strategy. When you get in, you're entered in, you're taken into the market, and you're on your way. Your rules, this 20 pip rule, where once you get beyond the 20, you're then starting to think about moving your stop loss to break even, potentially part position and out, plus a little bit. At least we can walk away with something.
Yeah.
That rule isn't going to get enforced unless you enforce it, right? At the same time, by enforcing that rule, you then reduce the room for maneuver with that particular trade. So it's a risk. Even that is a risk. Increased security is a risk, and that's one of the things I actually love about trading. Is it's yin and yang, chaos and order, no matter what. It's a complete world of duality.
Absolutely.
I think when you grasp and accept that, and you have a heightened sense of awareness when applying it, I think it does a lot for you in your game of trading. Looking at this dollar yen, obviously, mate, that looks healthy. I would, based on what the dollar yen's doing, and look at your MACD. Is this the 15-minute?
It sure is, yeah.
Mate, that's
this is
nice.
This is beautiful. This is beautiful.
That's lovely, mate. I'm in profit as well now. 10 pips. I got in at the 95.
Nice, very nice.
Three pips. Mate, it's clear roads for the dollar yen to at least 105.12, which 10 pips on dollar yen is the distance, man. We could just get out of this range, mate.
Yeah. No, I think there's a very good chance that actually happens now at this point. This is obviously now a buy signal. There's no question about it, right? This is definitely a buy signal again. We came back to support. We tested support. By the way, pause for a second because I want to go back for a second. I want to show you what I showed you yesterday. Remember yesterday when we were talking about the spinning top? And I identified this little spinning top right here. And I said, what this does is this establishes a boundary. A boundary which the market is likely to hang out in. Even if it breaks out, it's going to come back and test it, right? It's a boundary, right? Just watch. Just watch. Ready? Let's put a horizontal line at the top, and
Let's
one at
do
the
that.
bottom of the range.
Let's do it, man.
Let's do it, Rich. Let's do
Let's
it.
fuck.
Yeah.
Let's do it. We ain't scared.
I'm not. Are you scared?
We
I'm
take
not scared.
all the risk.
Watch this. Ready? Let's make it something fun. Let's make it pink. Your favorite color.
We let trades hit all our stop losses at KST. Hey, mate, sorry, but euro dollar. Oh, mate, euro dollar.
I'm up.
You're
30
gonna
pips
want
at
to
the
flick
moment.
over, mate. You're gonna want to flick over.
No, you want to see this first, and then we'll flick over.
Okay.
Because I said so, and for everybody watching, first of all, thank you for joining us, everybody. Welcome to those of you just joining us. For those of you watching, I said to Rich yesterday, I identified this spinning top boundary, and I explained to him that a spinning top is basically a sign of consolidation. It literally just means that we're about to enter into a period where the market is just range bound. It's not going up, it's not going down, it's just range bound. It's caught between two price points. I have been preaching about spinning tops for the better part of 10 years at this point. They've never once let me down. This is no exception. Look at how, even when the market left, look at all the tests, mate. Look, Rich. Look at all the wicks at the top of the range. Look at that.
Yeah.
And then,
And that,
as
actually
it fell,
there, mate.
look at
as
this.
well.
Hang on, because as it fell, look, again, another test. Even with this huge sell-off, where did it go to?
Yeah.
Right? Look.
Mm.
Then even we broke out very temporarily, came right back in.
Mhm.
And then even broke out again, came back and tested again. So, I mean, this just proved to be, and even look, we rallied, came back in again. And as we came back looking for that support, that's exactly where the market found it, right? It's right there. So that proved to be a very, very solid range, very solid call yesterday. Calling that spinning
Well done,
top.
mate.
And even that's not a perfect spinning top. Remember, I said it's a couple pips off. But I said there's enough there that you can get away with classifying it.
And interestingly, people are going to be like, 85 to 89, 4 pips. What? You know, it's never always one specific price point. It's always a range.
Exactly.
In this case, I just had an alert, mate. Yeah, euro dollar, man. Euro to the dollar.
Let's switch
That's
over. There's
gone,
Aussie.
mate.
Look at Aussie dollar starting to do its thing. Look at Kiwi dollar
I know,
doing
I'm
its thing.
slightly raging about that, to be honest.
Look at pound dollar doing its thing.
Slightly angry.
Ooh,
I blame you.
man.
I blame you for getting out of Aussie dollar.
You should have said earlier. You waited too long to bring it up. That's your fault.
I probably got in too quick, to be fair. But I wanted the best price. I literally got in at 35, but...
We all want the best price, mate. We all want the best price.
But anyway, what is your thoughts and feelings now, other than booking a flight to Costa Rica?
I was going to say, I feel good. I knew that I would.
We shouldn't feel good when we're winning, mate. It's just emotional, mate.
That's it.
I am really happy that my trade is coming in.
Yeah, that's true.
I better had moved my stop loss and part break even and part position out now.
That's Rich is absolutely right, folks. Don't be emotional like us.
Yeah. Don't have too much fun, man.
Don't.
You'll have the fun police at the door asking for their prop fund back.
No, I have all the confidence in the world that this is going to the top. I said to you just before this big push started, maybe like, what was it, 15, 20 minutes before we started seeing this big move, I said, I think this is going to now make a push. I think the next target it's going for is that the extension. And I stand by that. I said it before the breakout. Sure as sugar. The breakout has now started. So yeah, I mean, you know, we may get a little pullback here and there across the way.
Sure as sugar.
Well, I didn't want to say the other thing, did I? Sure as.
Very political.
Sure as sugar, honey, iced tea.
Very PC of you, mate.
Thank you.
Mm.
We're PC on the Forex Trading Lounge.
It's all them years in retail.
That's it.
No, it's interesting this euro dollar.
See, what's amazing about this euro dollar at the moment with these fibs is the subs and the capitals line up perfectly. That seldom happens where you have it a perfect alignment like that. But if you look, I've got 128.89. It's labeled right there. That's the 15-minute maximum 69.4. That's the capital 69.4, right? So that's the deepest, for those watching, that's the deepest point of retracement between what we call A and B, right? So if we're measuring the wave, that's A, that's B, this would be C, and then we're anticipating D down here, in a nutshell, right? That 69.4%, that 2.001 is my target based on the capital. But if you look at the subs, look at the current subs, mate. 69.4% retracement, which means a 144 extension. And tell me, Rich, read that out to me. What price point is that 144 on the subs?
The 2001, is it?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
1.2001, exactly right. So you have it, like I say, this seldom happens like this, but you have a situation right now where these things are lining up perfectly to the same to the pip. That's fantastic. Nejko, hey Nejko. Hopefully I'm pronouncing your name correctly, mate. Nejko says, "Hey, is it worth selling now?" I'm in on a sell on this currently, but at the moment, what I tell people is when you see a movement like this, right? It's if you were to try to get in now, it's like trying to catch a falling knife, right?
It depends, man.
It depends. It depends on what you're going for.
Hey, if you've got a 100 pip stop, mate, crack on.
It depends. Yeah, exactly.
We have to be very careful because we're not qualified investment advisors.
Yeah, absolutely. So understand, guys, that what we're saying here. I'm not telling you what to do with your money or your trades. I'm only showing you what I'm doing and talking about what I would do in hypotheticals, right? I'm not telling you specifically what to do. That's very important. Having said that, what I would do in this situation, my thought process here would be, I don't want to catch a falling knife, right? And when you see something like this, when you see an aggressive move in the market, if you try to reach out now and jump in now, it picture like sticking your hand out to try to catch that falling knife. It's never a good idea, right? You could get very badly hurt. So the better plan of action, because we know the market does not move in straight lines, it moves in waves. We know that this is what's called an impulse. We should now have a retracement to test the impulse. And then if the impulse was correct, in other words, if investors are in agreement that price should continue down, on conclusion of that test, then we get what's called a continuation, right? So those are the four stages of the market's wave cycles. You have impulse, retracement, and then continuate with 3 steps in a 4-stage cycle, right? But impulse, retracement, continuation. This right here, Nejko, is the impulse. You can already see that this is starting to retrace already, right? And so it's worthwhile, if I'm looking at this, if I'm in this already, you can see my entry was there at 1.2067. If I'm not in this already, then I'm waiting now for the pullback to get a better entry price, and then looking to get in, right?
Yeah, that would be, yeah. It is in the context of what's happened, because it's pushed out to sea. If I were you and I was trying to sell in the same context of the strategy that Chris is applying here, a swing-based strategy down to these 2 levels, well, for starters, there's less room to get there now, so there's not that much profit. So
right.
Also, you're going to want the water to travel back to the seashore for the tide to come back in, right? to get the best level possible to then get back in with the trend and try and surf that wave if you're going to do it. But if you're not familiar with this strategy, then don't bother, mate. Otherwise, it's just gambling, isn't it?
Absolutely.
I did mention, I'm not sure when you joined. Obviously, we support one another's analysis. We've got very complementary trading strategies. I said there was going to be support around the 2040 level, as well as the 2010, 2015 level. And what have we got? 2040. We've got that wick, we've got that spike, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see a 10 to 20 pip pullback.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. Which just means a better entry opportunity if I'm not in this already.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's what I would be waiting for, rather than just jumping in and saying, "Oh, it's falling, so let me get in." Right. No, you want it to kind of hit something so that it gives a pullback again, and then that gives you a better entry opportunity. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. What's interesting here, like for Nichko watching, is where the price is now. It's kind of just out on its own. You know, before, when Chris was assimilating the information required to decide an entry, he had all that other information that was relative to the range and the context of something. It's a reference point to go off. So I think that's probably the best answer you're ever going to get outside of being told to do this or that.
Yeah, definitely.
And we should probably leave it there before we make things complicated for ourselves.
Netsuko says, what's the difference between a retracement and a pullback? No difference. No difference. It's just different terminology describing the same thing. And Nezko says, I think I understand, but this can be a fake out, am I right? Yeah, absolutely. So by fake out, if you mean this could just be a temporary thing, and that actually with this current candle, we're not going to close bullish, we're going to continue bearish, that's a possibility too, of course. Because again, the market doesn't move in straight lines, it moves in waves, and that's even down to the second by second basis, right? The market still moves in waves. It doesn't go from one price straight to another, and that's it, right? It'll stop at, all these in-between prices along the way. Does that make sense?
If by fake out you're talking about controlled spikes where big players in the market come in and they purposely move the market in order to not so much manipulate it, because I mean it's a beast, 7 trillion, come on guys, but that does happen. If you're referring to that, that's what your stop loss is for, mate. And as a retail trader with small accounts, if you're dictating or deciding what you do and don't do based on the possibility of something being a fake out or not, you need to review why you're in this game, mate. You can't be worrying about potential fake outs. Like, you've got your strategy, you've got your confluence, you've got your boxes that you have to tick, you set your stop loss, you set your take profit, and you go for it. Well, not.
Yeah. There always is a risk that something's going to be a fake out, as it were, or that you got the call. Sometimes you just get the call wrong. Simple, right? We're humans. So yeah, Rich is absolutely right. You shouldn't be trading with money you cannot afford to lose. If you are, then it's the wrong money. And if you start out with the wrong money, then you're going to ultimately place the wrong trades, right? Because it's the wrong money. So you never want to trade with money that you cannot afford to lose. And if you do genuinely stick to that principle, then you should never really be worried about any trade you place. You should be almost indifferent as to the outcome of that trade if you've done your job as a trader correctly. Would you agree with that, Richard?
Yes. I will never disagree with you, sir. I would. I do like to challenge you, man. No, you're correct, man. You're correct. All I'm saying is, worry is, it's all good saying this in theory. In practice, it's nails because we are human at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Worrying is preposterous. Worrying about something being a fake out or if it's real or not is the equivalent to saying, do you know what? I'm worried about going to the shop today because I might get hit by a bus. You know, it's just forget it, man.
Definitely. And with that, unfortunately, we are all out of time. In fact, we're over time. We're going to be late for our next meeting, Rich. So unfortunately, we have to end it there, everybody. But I want to thank you all, those of you who are with us. Thank you so much for joining. We hope you enjoyed the session. This is the Forex Trading Lounge. We get together every day, Monday through Thursday, 8:30 to 10:30. Although you see, we do tend to go over a little bit. But that's just because we love what we do, and we can get caught up in the fun of it all. But you know, this is the place to come if you're interested in trading. You want to be a trader. You want to improve your game. You know, you want to achieve consistency, find consistency. You know, we can certainly help. We are real traders ourselves, and our goal is to help in any way that we can. So. If you like what you saw, give the like button a smash for us. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss when we're going live. We're also producing some recorded videos as well, some educational videos to post to YouTube. So do subscribe so that you don't miss that. With that, Rich, thank you so much, mate. It's a pleasure as always.
Peace, man.
Thank you so much, everybody. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. And until tomorrow, you know the drill. To your health, wealth, and happiness. I'm Christopher Guzman. That's Rich Hooper. Take care, my friends. See you later. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.